Okay, so everybody should have their math books open to page 355. This is the independent practice for chapter 6, lesson 5, the one we've been working on for a while now. So we're going to do number 5 and number 7 together. And then you will not work, this will be homework, independent practice will be homework, and then you'll do IXL for the rest of our math class. And I'll tell you which one. I have the iPads. Okay, so number 5. Remember, what's our first step when we have 2-digit dividends? That's me. Zari, what is step 1? Zari, what is step 1? When we have 2-digit dividends.
Divide the tens.
So, divide. What is step 2? Aaron's not in there. Michaela, multiply. Victoria, what's step 3? Subtract. Smith, what is step 4?
Bring down the ones.
Bring down. Kingston, what is step 5? Divide. Not, yeah, divide. What is step 6? Mason. Multiply. Cullen, what is step 7?
Subtract.
Subtract. Make sure the door's closed all the way. And then open your math book to page 355. And Zadie, what is step 8 when we have 2-digit dividends?
Compare.
Compare. Now with 3 and 4-digit dividends, step 8 will not be compare. It'll be bring down again. Because all you're doing is you're repeating this an extra time for each digit. Do you see how we're repeating this 1, 2 times? And we have 2-digit dividends. So if we have 3-digit dividends, how many times are you going to repeat this set of steps? Carla?
3 times.
3 times. If you have 4-digit dividends, how many times would you repeat this set of steps? Zadie?
4 times.
4 times. If I had a 27-digit dividend, how many times would I repeat this set of steps? Smith?
27
27.
times.
I just repeat steps 1 through 4 for each digit because that means that's 4 places or 3 places or whatever. In this case, 1 place, 2 place, 10's place, 1's place. I would add an extra time for hundredths, 10's, 1's. But the last step will always be compare. Okay, so following these steps, let's do number 5. 67 divided by 7. Carla, step 1 is divide. So I'm seeing how many times my what will fit into my what.
You're going to see how many times 6 go into 6.
Every time, no matter what my digits are?
Every time you see 2 of the same number, it's
So I'm going
going
to
to
say
be 1.
6 goes into 6 here, and 6 goes into 6 here, and 6
No.
goes into 6 here. So tell me in words, not numbers. I see how many times my what will go into my what.
Your divider go into the dividend.
So that's what I'm doing overall. Carla, please mute yourself between, okay? In the end, my final answer will be how many times my divisor goes into my dividend. But step 1 is not to see how many times my divisor will go into my entire dividend. step 1 is to see how many times my divisor will go into what? Michaela? Of the? Good. My first step, Carla, is to see how many times my divisor will go into the first digit of the dividend. So Carla, what's my divisor?
Your divisor is 6.
6. What's the first digit of my dividend?
6.
6. So if I'm seeing how many times my divisor will go into the first digit of my dividend, I'm seeing how many times 6 will go into 6. So yes, you are correct, but remember, make sure you know the words. So that if you have different digits, you still know exactly what to do. So Carla, how many times will my divisor go into my dividend without going over?
Your divisor will go into the first digit of the dividend is 1 time.
1 time. 6 will go into 6 1 time. Okay, so I'm making sure to line that up with my first digit of my dividend. Some of you are not doing that on your homework. When we get to larger dividends, it's going to confuse you and you're going to make a mess and it's going to be like, what is happening? I don't know how to do this. But you do know how to do this. You're just not lining it up correctly, so it's not working. So make sure you are lining things up. So our first digit lines up with the tens place. Okay, so we just divided. Ethan, next we're multiplying. What are we multiplying? Okay, so that's the number way, but what's the word way? Yes, that is what we're going to do, but remember, we're not going to do 6 times 1 every single time. Like we wouldn't do 6 times 1 here or here. So what's the word way that I can say that? We multiply the, what is this? No. Divisor by the digit we just got. What digit did we just get? Remember, digit is just the one little piece, and it's the last one I wrote. So Ethan, what's the digit I just got? And what's my divisor?
6.
So if I multiply the digit I just got by my divisor, what do I get? 6. 1 times 6 is 6. So again, I'm going to line it all up. I'm going to be real neat. I'm not going to put it over here because I'm not worried about the ones place yet. Okay, so I just multiplied. Colin, what do I do next? I know I subtract. What am I subtracting?
You're subtracting the first digit of your dividend minus the digit you just got.
So the answer to my multiplication problem. Good, you put that into words and that's hard to put into words. But let's talk about this for a second. We have to talk about the way we say subtraction problems. We're going to subtract the answer to the multiplication problem from the first digit of our dividend. Okay? So listen to how I said that. We're subtracting the answer to the multiplication problem from, not by, not with. We're subtracting from the first digit of our dividend, which is what, Cullen?
6.
I'm sorry, what's the answer? You
0.
can tell me the whole equation.
6 minus 6 is 0.
0. Okay? So we subtracted. What do we do next? Michaela, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. Victoria. I saw your stick too, but I pulled out Victoria's. What do I do next? I know I bring down. What does that mean? Which part of my problem am I looking at in order to bring down? But which part, listen to my question, which part of my problem am I looking at to bring down? What's the name of that part? My divisor? Am I going to bring this down?
Oh, no. You're going to bring...
Please don't tell me what I'm bringing down. Tell me which part of the problem I'm looking at in order to bring something down.
The ones placed in the
Every time, when I get to step 4, am I always going to bring down the ones place? No, because if I have a larger dividend, I'm not. So I'm just looking at my dividend. I'm not looking at any place. I'm just looking to see what's next that doesn't have something underneath it. So let's look at the dividend. The first digit, does it have a number or an arrow underneath it? So do we bring it down? No. The second digit, does it have a number or an arrow underneath it? So do we bring it down? Yes. Now I'm going to draw an arrow so that I remember I brought it down. Because when we get into 3 and 4 digit numbers, you're definitely going to want to have that arrow. Otherwise, you're going to have to be real careful and you're going to have to pay close attention. And no matter how many times I say that, some of you don't. So just put the arrow, that way you don't have to be as careful. Do you understand why I want you to put that arrow? Okay. So we brought down our 7. Are we still worried about 67, Victoria? No. What's our new dividend that we're working with? 7. We're done with 67. Now we're just worried about 7. Okay, so we brought down, we have our new dividend, it's 7. I don't know, I need to take me out. Carla, what do I do next? I know I divide, so I'm seeing how many times my what will fit into the what?
You're going to see how many times the new dividend will go into the divisor.
Okay, that means I'm seeing how many times 7 will go into 6. Is that what I want to do, Carla? If I see how many times my dividend, my new dividend, which is 7, will go into my divisor, that means I'm saying how many times 7 will go into 6. That's not what I'm doing, though. So flip-flop those words. I'm seeing how many times my
Divisor.
will go into the
new dividend.
The new dividend. So make sure you're getting the words. I know that Carla knew what to do. You just also have to make sure you're getting the words. So Carla, how many times will my divisor 6 go into my new dividend 7?
1 time.
1 time. So I'm going to line that up with the ones place because that's where I'm working right now, right? Okay. So I just divided. I figured out my divisor 6 will go into my new dividend 7 1 time without going over. Smith, I know I multiply next. What does that mean?
You multiply your divisor by the digit you just got.
Very good. Thank you for you saying it correctly instead of the number, because then I might think I have to multiply my divisor by 11, which means I get 66. Can I do that, Smith?
No.
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 So thank you for saying it correctly. I'm only multiplying my divisor by the digit I just got, the one little piece of a number that I literally just wrote with my pencil or whatever. So we know our divisor 6. Smith, what is the digit we just got?
1.
1. So the digit we just got, 1, times our divisor 6 equals,
6.
and I'm lining it up so that I don't make a silly mistake. So we just multiplied. Next we do what, Kingston? Subtract. What am I subtracting? 7 minus 6. So what we can say is we're subtracting the answer to the multiplication problem from our new dividend. That's how we can say that in words. I'll say it one more time. We're subtracting the answer to the multiplication problem from the new dividend. Kingston, what's our new dividend?
7.
What's the answer to the subtraction problem? I'm sorry, the multiplication problem?
6.
7 minus 6 is
1.
1. So I just subtracted. I know it says to compare, but Zadie, what should I always check for before I compare?
You should check to see if there's not a number or an arrow
Under each, what? In the, come on, vocab's important. Cullen?
in the dividend.
In the dividend. So I need to check for something to bring down. In order to check for something to bring down, I need to see, is there a number or an arrow underneath each digit in the dividend? Let's look at the first one. Zadie, is there a number or an arrow underneath our first digit? Is there a number or an arrow underneath our second digit? Do we have any other digits?
No.
So are we done? Okay. Mason, if she's helping, you can answer the door. Okay? Okay, so that means we're ready to do what? If there's no more digits to bring down, what step do we do? The same step every time. The last step. Who can help her out? What do? We know there's nothing left to bring down. Mason?
Check the remainder.
Well, what is that? What is the name of the step? What? Compare. Come on, guys. The steps are important. That's what's going to help you. You guys just want to dive in and you're like, oh, I know what to do. It's like, it's this. That's the remainder. Why is it the remainder? Knowing that this is the remainder is not going to help you remember it when you're doing it on your own. Knowing that once you get here, you check for something to bring down. If there's nothing, then you compare. That means you know why it's the remainder. Knowing why it's the remainder is going to make it stick. Knowing it's the remainder, cool, you got that problem right. What about in a few weeks when we take the test? Are you going to remember why that's the remainder? Or are you going to go up here and be like, 7? And then keep going. That may happen. If you don't know why, you're stopping here. So Zadie, we know there's nothing left to bring down, so what's the very last thing that we do? Compare. We're checking to see if this answer to the subtraction problem, are we checking to see if it's greater than, less than, or equal to our divisor, Zadie?
Less than.
Less than. Is the answer to our subtraction problem less than our divisor?
Yes.
So what does that mean?
That's our remainder.
That's our remainder. So class, 67 divided by 6 is?
11 remainder 1.
11 remainder 1. Okay, number 7. This is where you need a separate sheet of paper. Thank you to those of you who followed directions and used a separate sheet of paper for every problem on the homework like I asked. Now we will all be able to read them clearly. Those of you who did not do that, good luck using it to study. It's going to take me forever to grade, which means everybody gets it back way later than they should. And some of them I'm not going to be able to read because it's going to be all crammed together, and I'm not going to force myself to read it, which means you'll get it wrong. I told you to use a separate sheet of paper for every single problem on your homework. Some of you did, a lot of you did not. That means if it's hard for me to read, I'm just going to count it wrong. Because I told you how to do it so that it was not hard to read and you did not follow directions. Okay, so 3 divided by 73. Go to your separate sheet of paper. I'm going to erase my checks. I'm going to do it here because I don't have room to do it somewhere else. Actually, you know what I'll do? Since we don't really need that up. Whatever. I know it's 3 divided by 73, so I'm going to go to my separate sheet of paper. And I'm going to label it Math IP January 20th, 2021, and then I'm going to start with number 7. Now I'm going to write my problem, but look at how I write this. I'm not going to put 3 divided by 73 right here, because then that means my answer is crammed up here. I'm going to write 3 divided by 73 on the second line, not the very top one, so that I have room for my answer. So if you had already written 73 divided by 3 at the very top line, erase it and rewrite it on the second line. Now I'm going to solve this over here so that it's big enough to see, but I'm going to move everything over so you can see what to do. Give yourself space. Give yourself space. So if you need to spread these 2 digits out a little bit, do that. Now, I'm going to do it in 2 places. Here so that you can see it. Over here so you can see how to show it on your paper so that it's neat and easy to read and easy to not make mistakes. Okay, step 1. I know I divide. What does that mean, Zari? What am I doing when I'm dividing the very first time?
You're taking the divisor and you're seeing how many times you put it in the first digit in your dividend.
Good. So I'm seeing how many times my divisor will go into the first digit of my dividend. How many times is that, Zari?
2.
2. 3 will go into 7 2 times. So I'm lining it up very neatly. It lines up with the digit in the tens place in my divisor. I'm not cramming it so that all of it fits here. I need to line it up. It's very important. Okay, so I just divided. I figured out my divisor. 3 will go into the first digit of my dividend. 7 2 times. Mason, next I have to multiply. What does that mean? Well, I know that, but what are the words? I know I have to multiply 3 times 2, but I'm not multiplying 3 times 2 every single time I get to step 2. Only this time, because why? What are the words that tell me what to multiply when I get to step 2?
You have to multiply your divisor by your new digit.
By the digit I just got. New digit, that's an okay way of saying that. Just make sure you know the difference between new digit and new dividend. So yeah, I multiply my divisor, which is 3, by my new digit, or the digit I just got, which is 2. So 2 times 3 is, where am I going to put that? Mason, am I going to put it here? Am I going to put it here? Am I going to put it here? Yes. I'm lining it up with the place I'm working on, which right now is the tens place. Okay, good. What do I do next? Ethan, you can tell me in numbers, not words, since we just put words to it today. What do I do next, though? I subtract. What am I subtracting? 7 minus 6, or I can say I'm subtracting 6 from 7. Bonus brownie points for whoever can remember that in words. We just talked about it in words. Who remembers the words for how to do that? We subtract the what from the what? Kingston?
You subtract the answer from the multiplication.
I subtract the answer to the multiplication problem from the whole dividend, 73 minus 6? The first digit of the dividend. So yes, that's it in words. I subtract the answer to my multiplication problem from the first digit of my dividend. The answer to my multiplication problem is 6. The first digit of my dividend is 7. Ethan, 7 minus 6 is 1. Okay, what do I do next? Michaela, I bring down. So where am I going? Where am I bringing down from? What part of the problem am I bringing down from? What part of the problem? Remember, I have 3 parts to a division problem. No matter how many digits are in the division problem, I always have 3 parts. Sometimes 4. If there's something, which we don't always have. Victoria, can you help her out? Where do we bring down from? The dividend. So Michaela, where do I bring down from? From the dividend. Am I bringing down this first digit? How do I know? There's a number underneath it. What about this second digit? How do I know? There's nothing under it. No number, no arrow. So now I'm going to put an arrow under it. So I know I can't bring it down again. And now I have a what? Now I've brought it down, so I have a what? What is the word for what this is? Erin, can you help her out? We have a new dividend. What's my new dividend? 13. Every time I subtract, I'm going to end up with a new dividend or a remainder. If I brought down, it's a new dividend. If I had nothing to bring down, it's the remainder. So, what's my new dividend, Michaela? 13. What do I do next, Michaela? I know I divide, but what does that mean? Oops, I forgot to write over here. Sorry. So when I multiply 2 times 3, I'm putting it right underneath. I'm being super neat. I'm writing my operation symbols. Stop trying to get too big for your britches. Show the symbols, show all the steps. Then I put the answer, and I've got them all lined up neatly. So see, I don't have boxes, but I still have them lined up neatly. Then I have my arrow to show that I brought that digit down. And now I have my new dividend. See how the places, the 10s and the 1s in my new dividend line up with the 10s and the 1s in my old dividend, right? Okay. So Michaela, now I'm dividing, which means I see how many times what will go into what. Don't tell me the numbers, tell me the words. So that means if I'm seeing how many times my new dividend will go into my divisor, that's telling me I'm trying to see how many times 13 will go into 3. Is that what I'm doing here? Am I seeing how many times 13 will go into 3? No, I'm seeing how many times 3 will go into 13. So I know you know what to do, but it's what Carla did, where you flip-flop the words. So tell me the words again in the correct order. I see how many times what will go into what? I'm seeing how many times my divisor will go into my new dividend. What's my divisor, Michaela? What's my new dividend? What is it?
13.
So 3 will go into 13. Oh my gosh, Aaron, you have to go over to the church. Quick, quick, quick. Just go. I lost track of time. Go quick. Okay, so 3 will go into 13. How many times? 4 times. So I just divide it. Zadie. Oh, and I'm lining up with my ones place. Zadie, what am I doing next? You have a place to look. I don't know why you refuse to use your tools. You have a place to look in your book. You have a place to look up here. What do? I just divided for the second time, so what do I do next?
Multiply.
I multiply. You also have that chant we did. So you can think, divide, multiply, subtract. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, divide, multiply. Okay, what am I multiplying? Tell me in words, Zadie. Okay, you've got to know these steps. If you don't, it's not going to go well in the test. Who can help her out? Carla, tell me in words, not numbers.
We multiply the divisor
By the, not to.
by the new digit we got.
So we take our divisor and we multiply it by the digit, the new digit we just got. Well, what's our divisor, Zadie?
3.
3. What's the digit we just got?
13.
Is this a digit?
No.
This is our new dividend. Digits are only each piece. 1 and 3 are the digits. But do we ever multiply by anything down here? No. What do we multiply? What's the digit we just got?
4.
The one that we just wrote.
4.
4. We always look at these digits up here when we're multiplying. Nothing down here will ever be multiplied. Only the divisor and one piece at a time in our quotient. So the digit we just got is 4. Our divisor is 3. 4 times 3 is
12.
12. Zadie, you need to study these steps. Stop trying to go too fast and skip ahead. We just learned this last Thursday or Friday. You are not supposed to be an expert. And if you guys keep going into it thinking, I'm an expert, I don't need to do all this, guess what you will never be? Mason, loud.
An expert.
An expert. If you go into something thinking you're an expert already, it means you're not going to take the time to do the work to become an expert. Real experts put a lot of work into it before they can call themselves that. Victoria, we just multiplied. What do we do next?
Subtract.
Subtract. What are we subtracting?
We want to try to say it
In words? Go ahead.
we
Remember, we subtract blank from blank.
we subtract our new dividend from the multiplication
You're on the right track with the words. You have the right words. You just have them in the wrong order. Because if we subtract our new dividend from the multiplication answer, that means we'd be saying 12 minus 13. Remember, we subtract the smaller number from the larger number. So we're subtracting what from what?
we're subtracting the multiplication answer from our new dividend.
Good. So we're subtracting the answer to our multiplication problem from our new dividend. So we're doing what subtraction problem?
13 minus 12.
13 minus 12. Please do not forget your operation symbol. Don't be too good or too cool. Slow down. Show everything. Victoria, 13 minus 12 is 1. So we just subtracted. Now, what do we always check for after we subtract? Carla, what do we always check for after we subtract?
We always check if there's any number that we have to bring down.
Any digit we have to bring down, correct?
Any digits.
So let's look. Where do we look? The dividend, the divisor, or the quotient for something to bring down?
We look at the dividend.
We look at the dividend. So let's look at the first digit. Can we bring this down?
No,
How do we know?
because it has a number.
It has a number underneath it. What about this second digit? Can we bring it down?
No,
How do we know?
because there's a digit underneath
Well,
it.
there's an arrow underneath it. So there's a symbol.
I mean arrow.
Are there any other digits?
No,
So do we have anything to bring down?
no.
Which means we're ready to do what with this answer to this subtraction problem?
We're ready to put it. We're ready to make it a
Well, before we do that, we have to do something to make sure that we're ready to make it a remainder.
We're ready to compare.
We're comparing it. So we're seeing if it's greater than, less than, or equal to what?
The divisor.
Okay? So, or do we need to make sure? Is it correct if it's greater than the divisor, Carla?
No,
Or is it correct if it's equal to the divisor?
no.
Is it correct if it's less than the divisor?
Yes,
Yes. So, is 1 less than our divisor of 3?
yes.
So that means 1 is our
Remainder.
remainder. So class, 73 divided by 3 is what?
24 remainder.
24 remainder 1. So go ahead on your math, put 24 remainder 1 above the bracket. Make sure you line it up. The 2 lines up with the tens place, the 4 lines up with the ones place. The remainder is a little over to the side. Put a little space, not a massive space, but a little space, and then you have remainder 1. So this is what it looks like on your paper. 4 times 3 is 12. I'm lining those two numbers up. I'm putting my subtraction problem, and then I'm writing the answer lined up with my dividend. Then I have a little space, and I have remainder 1. Okay, so now what we're going to do for the next 25-ish minutes, you're going to get to work on IXL D11. It's D11. So, put that extra sheet of paper in your math book. Leave it open so you have it to look at the steps. Get out another separate sheet of paper for IXL, because you have to show the work. I will pass out the iPads. You guys know how to get on IXL. If you need to get your planners out to get your passwords, you can. Zadie, I think the password in your planner is your new password. Remember, the passcode for these iPads is just 1111.
you want us to go ahead and get on Excel too?
Yes, you can. And you're doing D11.
Miss Fullest,
Yes, ma'am.
I might have to log on and log back off on the laptop so that it's a little easier for me to see you clearly